I have read The Wren and the Holly Library by K.A. Linde, and I want to talk about it. I have lots of thoughts here, and by lots of thoughts, I mean like practically 3 pages of notes. This book is actually only 381 pages. I'm going to do a little synopsis of The Wren and the Holly Library. So basically, we have a main character. Her name is Course, and she's a thief. This is in a world in which monsters and humans alike live side by side. There is a lot of tension between the monsters and the humans, but you know what? There's a monster treaty. Of course, everything is okay, apart from when it's not, but if a human breaks the monster treaty, it won't go well for the human. But it's much better than how things used to be. So our main character is in New York City, and well, like I said, she's a thief, and so she gets a job from her benefactor, Gregory Ambordash, and she is just going to rob a house. Anyways, things don't go according to plan necessarily, and our main character gets offered a deal in which she just can't refuse. A job in which she just can't refuse. Alright, so we're gonna do some spoilers now for this book. So there's your spoiler warning. I figured that the Holly King and Oak King were going to be literal here, especially when Graves or Brandon, whatever we're calling him, was so adamant. Or was like, you need to own the story. So like with that, I kind of figured that was gonna happen. I will be honest. I did make a video completely doing a theory on TikTok that they were actually married because this whole thing felt like a fairy trap. Um, was I wrong? Yes, I was. Basically the idea was that do I have the notes with me? No, I don't think so. But basically it just felt like a fairy trap. She wrote her name in a book she signed her name without knowing what she signed. And he literally gave her a diamond ring. So that's where I was like, it feels like a fairy trap. Now it kind of was. Just not what I thought it was because it turns out she's the fairy with her being a wisp and all. I didn't see that coming. I knew she was gonna be special. Um, I knew the Wren had to be important here, but I didn't know it was like her mom. Triple spiral, as I said. So Ethan is a druid, Jen is a high priestess, and Kos is a wisp, making it so that they can heal each other. I'm sure it's going to be more developed because right now it just kind of looks like they only had the power to heal. Um, Also, they did say that they thought the wisps or the wisps were extinct because they can kill warlocks. Um, Interesting. At the end of the book, we know what the four magic artifacts are. There's the spear, sword, and then there's the cauldron and the stone. We know the location of the spear. That's what calls. We know the location of the sword because that's what Lorcan now. The cauldron we'll probably find in the second book, and the stone we don't know where that is. That'll probably be the third book. I thought King Louis was way too easy to take down, especially if it was just going to be he was built up to be this big bad, this actual opponent, and yet he was handled and dealt with pretty easy. Also, the job itself was built up, and it was like, yeah, she got caught, but she freed her ex, killed their enemy, and they escaped with the artifact. So it's like, it was too easy. Whether or not it's like, yeah, it's too easy, and then that is actually the problem that we'll have in the next book. I don't know. Um, I thought the whole thing with the stolen letter, I thought that was clever of it being like, Oh yeah, no, that has nothing to do with this. But we also do get like familiar, not familiar. We get romantic or ex drama, and we also get to learn more about the warlocks, the wish powder. I mean, it's a good um addition to the magic system. Kind of basically just like poison, kind of just like a powder form of it. Um, Ethan the werewolf's getting haunted by the wish powder, and then the triple spiral is the thing that saved them. So that's why I'm thinking like, is this like more than just healing? Can they do anything else? I believe it will probably have to be something more than just healing. Um, but I'm unsure. Tora, ex-girlfriend, trapped with vampires and the red velvets. Yeah, and then she was saved, and it was like super easy. And I'm like, is that it? She just had to get to the surface and she's free. I mean, like, here's what I keep on saying, and that's it. It's because situations like this, there will be a power vacuum. Like, all this power has to go somewhere. And yes, it didn't look like he had a successor in mind, but that doesn't negate the fact that he had a lot of power. Though he has a lot of people backing his movement. So whether or not it happens in the next book or it happens a few centuries in the book doesn't negate that this hatred is still there and they truly have a lot of power. And so I'm like, is it that it's just one person that escaped? Well, if it's just one person that escaped, then it'll be like, okay, then let's go get her. Is it just like they don't want to divulge energy into that? Like, is Tora really free? What's at this moment stopping someone from taking her again? Like, the problem in which what we saw with Red Velvet has not been solved. Just because King Louis is dead does not mean that the problems and the system that King Louis made, because we see in this that King Louis has his hands in every pot. King Louis has a lot of power here. That power's not just gonna go away because he's dead. So I am concerned about her. Let's get to Lorcan because I have thoughts on him. So Oak King. He called her, and I'm not gonna do I'm just gonna translate it into English from what Graves or Brandon said. So Loikin called her, course, the pulse of my heart. And he said that after he found out the whole thing about her being a wisp. Are they trying to do like a soulmate type thing? I don't know. Because they're like, yeah, they used to be connected. They were close. So is it like, is this okay? Basically, is this a platonic thing right now? Is this a romantic thing? Because he's always like been interested in her, whether or not we want to believe it was just for like a heist idea or like trying to get her on his side and away from Graves. I don't know. I do think that there was probably emotions though, because he was heavily flirting with her, and she does seem like the type of person that wouldn't realize that someone is actually flirting with her to flirt with her. Um, so I don't know if it's going to be like, okay, hear me out. I don't know if this is a why choose love triangle or whatever. Like, is Loikin gonna be her best friend now? What is that like the connection that they're going for? That is like, okay, no, and then so she has the Oak King High Priestess Druid all as her close allies, and then she has Graves, the person that she's going to be with, or is it that she's going to be with both Loic the Oak King and Brandon, a Holly King? Is it like a why choose type thing? I don't know, and I have not read the second book. Because it's like it wouldn't make sense if maybe it's a wide choose, but also if it's a love triangle, because of how Loiken is responding. Granted, she's not very interested in him. I will also say that's kind of making me think it's not a love triangle or a wide choose, but maybe in the second book it will come forth. Like, there's been so many times in which it's a trilogy or something like that in a fantasy novel, and the second book, the love, um, the end game relationship comes forth. So I'm like, is it something like that? Is it like she is the final and the only risk, um, and she is the being that's going to make it so the Holly King and the Oak King no longer fight? And how would that may be? I don't necessarily know. If they're saying a wisp can kill a warlock, it would make sense why a wisp would naturally be able to remove um, the the warriors, and why they would be basically hunted to extinction or near extinction here because there's only one, so endangered. Um, Ethan training with Loiken in the end, I think that is another way for Loiken to be in the next book and in the series and not something that we just forget about. It does make sense because they are saying that Loiken the Oak King, his people is the Druids. And I do think it's probably very important here that everyone like learns their abilities, powers up. I am interested to see what powers druids have in this world. Um, is it like healing? Like, does each one of the triple spiral have some special power that when they're together and connected that they all call upon? Also, here are the final notes that I like simply wrote down um while I was reading it. So this is just like the as it was happening thoughts. Um a little like Edward and Bella mind reader on a shield. Hey, I still stand by that. It's a little bit like that. Like he's the mind reader. And yes, he doesn't read minds, but like still. And then Bella shield. He literally wants her to shield him, like in Breaking Dawn. I'm just saying. Heist because it's such a heist. And then lastly, she. This is funny to me. Our main character gets a tarot card, right, from the High Priestess. It's the Magician card. I wrote down not the Magician card. So if you don't know anything about tarot, Magician is number one, right? So it's the Fool, which is a zero. Then you have the Magician. And the Magician is major arcana. So big life decisions, big things in your life, basically. Um, the Magician card specifically talks about you have everything you need to then go forth, to to then manifest, to you have everything. You have the sword, you have the mind of the communication, you have ale, you have the wand passion file, you have cups emotion waddle, and then you have a pentacle ground off stability, right? You have everything you need to go and get or to come up with what you need. And I think that's very beautiful here because it's like saying, okay, yeah, she has everything within her for the story to now go forward. Right? Because she does. She has all the magic. It's just locked within her. Like, I don't think that seeing the magician card was wrong here. I do think that it was fitting. So that's my thoughts and opinions of the Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Linde.